Good afternoon, everyone. We will begin the Oakland Park Sidewalk Improvements Project virtual public meeting in about 2 more minutes to allow additional attendees to join us. All right, we're going to go ahead and begin. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining the Oakland Park Sidewalk Improvements Project. This project will be in the neighborhoods of Central Oakland Park and Harlem McBride. Today is Thursday, June 2nd. At this time, I would like to acknowledge any elected official that is currently on the line and would like to be acknowledged. We invite you to raise your hand and we will go ahead and unmute you. Alrighty, I don't see any elected official on the line. Slide 2, tonight's meeting format will consist of a presentation and question and answer session between 5 p.m. and 5:30 p.m., which will be the first session, and the second session will follow at 5:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. My name is Danielle Silva. I am the project spokesperson, and I will also be the moderator and presenter for this evening. Slide 3, the Florida Department of Transportation is required to comply with various non-discrimination laws and regulations, including Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Public participation is solicited without regard to race, color, national origin, age, sex, religion, disability, or family status. Any person wishing to express concerns about Title VI may do so by contacting District 4 Title VI Coordinator Sharon Singh Hagyan or State Title VI Coordinator Jacqueline Paramore. Slide 4, the virtual public meeting will be recorded. All attendees will remain muted throughout the meeting. If at any point you experience any technical difficulties, please contact the GoToWebinar support at the number displayed on the screen. At the end of the presentation, attendees are also welcome to submit any questions or comments using the GoToWebinar question panel. A member of the team will then respond during the question and answer portion. To request to speak at any point during the session, please raise the hand button on the control panel and unmute your microphone when your name is called. Slide 5, participating on GoToWebinar. As mentioned, if you would like to ask a question verbally, please click on the hand icon to be recognized. Also, this meeting will be recorded and posted on the D4 FDOT site. At this time, I'd like to introduce the project team. On behalf of the construction project team, I'd like to go ahead and introduce our project manager from FDOT District 4 Broward Operations, Eric Namati. Our project administrator, Ricky Estropo. On behalf of the design project team, I'd like to introduce Helen James. She's with FDOT. The engineer of record, Evan Key. He's actually currently, he won't be attending this evening, and we have Joshua Carter. On behalf of the City of Oakland Park, I'd like to introduce project manager Andre Ugent, and also on the line we have Chantel Montgomery. Representing the Broward MPO, we do have Benjamin Restrepo. He is the project manager. Slide 7. Please enjoy the project video, which includes information on the improvements to be completed, along with lane closure information. We will begin the question and answer session shortly after the video. It appears I'm having some technical difficulties. Slide 8, Project Overview. The purpose of this project is to construct sidewalks at various locations within the neighborhoods of Central Oakland Park and Harlow McBride. The total length of the project is 5.6 miles. The contract was awarded to Zaleen Enterprises Incorporated, and construction is anticipated to begin on June 15, 2022. Total estimated construction cost is $2 million, and the contract time is 212 calendar days, plus additional weather and holidays. Overall anticipated completion will be in the spring of 2023.
Slide 9. Good evening, my name is Carrie McNeil, and I am a project manager at the Broward Metropolitan Planning Organization. The Broward MPO is a federally chartered entity responsible for transportation decision-making in the Broward region. MPO federal attributable funds are utilized to fund a variety of transportation projects. The Broward MPO also influences the expenditure of state and other federal transportation funds at the regional level. The MPO board is a transportation policy-making board made up of representatives from 31 municipalities, the Broward County Board of Commissioners, the County School Board, and South Florida Regional Transportation Authority. The Broward MPO works to develop plans, conduct studies, and establish initiatives and programs to identify areas or corridors in need of improvement. Our mission is to collaboratively plan, prioritize, and fund the delivery of diverse transportation options. Our vision is that our work will have measurable positive impact by ensuring transportation projects are well selected, funded, and delivered. Slide 10. The MPO's Complete Streets and Other Localized Initiatives Program, or CSLIP for short, is a competitive grant program that provides funding opportunities for small, local transportation projects which improve the safety and mobility for all transportation users in Broward County. This program can fund projects such as, but not limited to, complete streets projects, traffic calming intersection improvements, ADA upgrades, mobility hubs, bike racks, and technology advancements such as transit signal priority and traffic control devices. Each cycle, applicants are required to submit program-ready projects with proof of roadway ownership, a well-defined scope of work, partner collaboration, a cost estimate prepared by a professional engineer, documentation of public outreach, and a commission resolution of support. Back in 2015, the first CSLIP cycle, the following roadway improvement project was submitted by the City of Oakland Park, the Oakland Park Sidewalk Improvements Project. This project was objectively ranked by the MPO, approved by the MPO board, vetted by the MPO and FDOT, and programmed for funding in the Broward MPO's Transportation Improvement Program.
Slide 11. Improvements as part of this project include constructing new sidewalks along 13 different corridors, relocating and installing signage, relocating drainage structures, the regrading of swales to ensure proper drainage flow, and modifying irrigation systems where impacted by new sidewalk construction. Slide 12. New sidewalks will be built along Northeast 2nd Avenue, Northeast 3rd Avenue, Northeast 6th Avenue, Northeast 8th Avenue, Northeast 10th Avenue, Northeast 11th Avenue, Northeast 32nd Street, Northeast 33rd Street, Northeast 34th Street, Northeast 35th Street, Northeast 36th Street, Northeast 37th Street, and Northeast 35th Court.
Slide 13. This is a typical section for the roadway at the various locations of Northeast 32nd Street, Northeast 33rd Street, Northeast 34th Street, Northeast 35th Street, Northeast 35th Court, Northeast 36th Street, Northeast 37th Street, and Northeast 11th Avenue. In this typical section, you can see that there is a 5-foot sidewalk that will be 6 inches thick on each side of the existing roadway. Slide 14. This is the typical section, and as shown, there will be a 5-foot wide, 6-inch thick concrete sidewalk installed at various locations along Northeast 32nd Street, Northeast 33rd Street, Northeast 34th Street, Northeast 35th Street, Northeast 37th Street, Northeast 3rd Avenue, Northeast 6th Avenue, Northeast 8th Avenue, Northeast 10th Avenue, and Northeast 11th Avenue. Slide 15. This is a typical section with 5-foot wide, 6-inch thick sidewalk going to be installed at various locations along Northeast 32nd Street, Northeast 33rd Street, Northeast 35th Street, Northeast 35th Court, Northeast 36th Street, Northeast 2nd Avenue, Northeast 3rd Avenue, and Northeast 11th Avenue.
Slide 16. This is an overhead view of Northeast 32nd Street and Northeast 5th Avenue. The red line represents the right-of-way. The blue area represents the concrete sidewalk to be placed, and the green represents the sod and swale areas, and the white boxes shown are the drainage structures. Slide 17. This is similar to the last slide. This is an overview of Northeast 35th Street and Northeast 3rd Avenue. Once again, the right-of-way line is represented by the red line below. Blue represents a concrete sidewalk to be placed, and green represents the sod and swale areas. Slide 18. This is the overview of Northeast 10th Avenue and Northeast 35th Street. Red represents the right-of-way line, and concrete sidewalk and sod placement to only be done on the west side. Slide 19. This is an overview of Northeast 6th Avenue and Northeast 33rd Street. Concrete sidewalk and sod placement to be done on the west side of the existing roadway.
Slide 20. As part of this project, single lane closures are permitted daily between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. Business and residential access will be maintained at all times throughout construction. Slide 21. Safety and local coordination. Advanced warning and project signage will be placed throughout the construction corridor. Lighted message boards will be located at the project limits. The project team will work closely with the City of Oakland Park and other local agencies to ensure safety standards are met and impacts to the public are minimized in every way possible. Business and pedestrian access will be maintained at all times throughout construction. Slide 22. The Community Outreach Specialist will distribute project-specific information as needed. The traffic impacts will be included in the District Communications weekly traffic impact press release. All project updates will also be posted to the District 4 website, which can be found via the QR code on the screen. Lastly, the project team will meet with city and county officials, community groups, and property owners regarding project updates on an as-needed basis. To receive project-specific updates, please feel free to email msilva@coradino.com to be added to the lists. Slide 7, we will go ahead and open up the floor to any questions or comments. As mentioned before, if you would like to speak, please click on the hand raise icon and we will go ahead and unmute you. You're also more than welcome to type in your questions in the chat and we will read them out and have the team address directly. Okay, we have a question for Stephen Smith. You are unmuted. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, this is Stephen Denise Smith. I don't, is
Okay.
this visual? It's just audio. Okay.
Yes.
Just wanted to clarify, we're on Northeast 35th Street and we were between 10th and 11th Avenue. I didn't see that on the flyer.
It's not on the flyer.
Yeah, it's not
So-
printed on the list of the projects that you mail to our home. And we're curious, in the presentation, I don't think I saw any
It
reference
wasn't on
to
that
it.
either.
So is it tabled? Is it going forward? Is
We're
this
not
just a
involved
typo?
or what?
Can you repeat the location, please?
It's on,
Northeast.
we're on Northeast 35th Street between 11th and 10th. And on
This
your,
goes 35th Street goes
on
from
your-
2nd to 3rd.
Right.
That's it.
on your project
Okay.
improvement flyer, it's not listed. Our street, 35th Street from 2nd Ave to 3rd Ave is listed, not 10th to 11th.
I will hand off your question to Eric or Ricky. They're the project managers and administrators.
Was that a typo?
I'm checking the plan sheet right now, and Josh from design, if you know off the top of your head while I quickly skim through it.
Yeah, that's strange because on my plan set, I do see that we're working on 35th Street from between, you said it was Northeast 10th and 11th, right?
Right.
Yeah, that should be plan sheet 39. So I'm not,
Let me,
I'm trying to see what work is to be done there. It's relatively minimal in that area. I think it's just one of the intersections. Yeah, a couple of intersections on 10th and 11th, and then some sod placement. And yeah, I'm sorry if that got missed. I didn't.
Well,
we didn't work there.
So we can,
If you can provide me with your contact information, we will look at the plan sheets a little bit more thoroughly and follow up with you in regards to the scope of work. Mostly, typically what we display on the graphics is where the majority of the impacts will be made to the public. So most likely there is very minimal impact to your corridor, which is possibly why it wasn't included into the graphic itself. But I will gladly take your information and follow up with you tomorrow or early next week.
perfect. Should I send you the request or do you?
Yes, send it to me. I can actually pull up my email. My email is displayed on the screen, and that is my phone number as well. I encourage everyone on the line to reach out to me directly. I will be the communications liaison between the contractor, DOT, and yourself. So everything will be filtered through me.
Okay, that's perfect.
Thank
The
you for your
partially
question, and we
answered-
will definitely follow up with you.
Thank you.
We are installing the north side of 35th between those limits. And then we will have some sod harmonization as well as some driveway reconstruction there as well.
Okay, we'll definitely coordinate with them directly.
Yes, Eric, you are 100% correct. We are reconstructing any driveway that was permitted in the city right of way. Anything beyond that will be getting removed, and we will be putting swales in these areas as well. Behind the actual existing or the proposed sidewalk, there is about 6 inches of space that will be used to harmonize back into the existing properties. I believe Evan and I actually met these folks out at their property earlier on in our coordination phasing, and explained exactly the way that the construction will be commenced in their area, both with them and their next door neighbors.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's put this back on. Tap
Okay,
him
could we
again.
speak again? Oops.
Yes, sure.
Okay, so go ahead.
I don't understand. I just heard that you were gonna tear out our driveways that are existing, that
No,
are permitted.
no,
You're
All
gonna take out the
driveways are going to
driveways
be,
that are there.
yes, sir, because they may or may not meet ADA criteria for any person with disability to be able to traverse the proposed sidewalks. So all homeowners' driveways that are,
Just
have
put that
been
driveway in
permitted
next
are,
door, they're gonna tear it out.
I'm sorry, sir?
No, wait, I don't understand that. But people that have their driveways there that are there now, you're gonna take out all the driveways, everybody's driveway that's in the way of these sidewalks, you're going to take out, correct?
They will be
Or not
they will
correct?
be reconstructed, sir, yes.
Yeah, you're gonna, all right, now, so my neighbor just put in a driveway like last week. So you're gonna tear up that driveway. And
this
those
is something
brand
that
new
will be
apartments that are
coordinated
across
with
the
each
street
property
that have
owner.
brand new driveways, you're gonna tear those up too, correct?
On 35th Street between 10th and 11th
On
Avenue,
30,
Yeah.
yeah,
only work
yes.
that is being done on that block is on the north side of the roadway. So anything on
Right.
the south side of the roadway is being left untouched.
Hmm.
All
Yeah,
existing
that's another
driveways,
question in itself. Why would underneath all the power poles and all of the waterways and the sewer and everything, the big power poles that are just put in, you chose to put the sidewalks there, encapsulating all of the utilities, and it'll just leave the other side bare.
I can answer that question.
So if you do have a problem, you're coming and you're gonna tear up my freshly poured sidewalk. Am I getting that right also?
I can answer that, sir. About the poles, we have a utility work schedule. They're going to be taking out any utilities in conflict, so we don't anticipate any poles being in the way of the sidewalk.
No. This is the main power grid. These poles are as big as houses. They just put them in like 6 months ago.
Those poles are to remain in place.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
I'd love to see you take those
Yeah,
out.
yeah. You and FPNL are gonna have a whoop, whoop.
Talk.
But I don't understand that. I mean, it really seriously does not make any sense. Why you just, no, we're gonna put them on that side, whether hell or high water, we're gonna put them there. Doesn't make any
This is
sense.
something that we can follow up with you on. We will be coordinating with every single property that will have driveways impacted on a one-on-one basis with advance notice before the contractor even gets in that area. So I
Respectfully,
encourage you to email me so we can definitely come out to the property, go over the limits as to where our construction ends, and explain to you exactly what will go down as far as the
Okay.
construction within your area.
respectfully, I have one more comment for the record
Okay.
for this purpose of this broadcast. I've been documenting, I should say photographing, the on-street parking that's taking place on the south side across from the street from myself and my neighbor who just put their new driveway in.
Okay.
And what's going to probably impact our access to our own homes for emergency vehicles, for police, for fire, for ambulances to get through that. If a sidewalk is going to take our parking, which we have pavers on now, and forcing people that visit us, or let's say have a special event in the neighborhood, which happens frequently, they are, how
We
is,
can't even get to our house.
we can't get to our house
We can't even
now.
get to our house.
So I'm curious how the thought process goes to put sidewalks and take parking away if you, and you guys that have attended the meeting with us a couple years ago, I have photographs I can send you from last night. I'm walking the dog, it's in the middle of the street. And I'm telling you, if you take a sidewalk and put it on the north side, forcing even the two homes between me and 11th or 10th Avenue, the few homes we have there, those people won't have any parking. You're taking that from them. Forget the visitors if everybody does this on-street parking. And it's my understanding, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, that the commission voted to approve on-street parking. Is that correct, Andre?
Andre, you're muted.
Oh. This is a huge concern for our safety. If I call 911 and I can't get a fire truck through because there's parking on both sides of on-street parking, because you can't park on a sidewalk, is my understanding.
Sounds good on paper, but it doesn't work.
It's just frightening to think that all this is gonna impact
Andre, we
our
can't hear you.
safety.
Andre, you're on mute.
We can't hear you. No, we
I
can't
can
hear you.
send, can I send the pictures to you also?
You can, yes, please
I'll
send it
send
to
the
me and we will
photograph.
definitely follow up with you on this.
I'll follow up with you tomorrow, Ms. Smith.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right.
It's gonna rain a lot, so just give us a call.
I'll bring your umbrella. Don't worry.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for your questions. We will ensure we will follow up with you. I'll be in contact with both of you within the next couple of days. So at this time, I'm going to open up the floor to additional questions.
Thank you.
Of course. We have a question from Polly Hemstock. You are unmuted. Please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thank you. I put my questions in the box as well. I
Okay.
live on Northeast 36th between 10th and 11th, and everyone's biggest concern is that the neighbors, we would all like to see that slide that shows what's going to happen on our specific blocks. Now, this is the first I've heard that there's any part of any block that's not going to be involved in this. So the south side of Northeast 35th is not being touched. What
is
about Northeast 36th?
So Northeast 36th will have sidewalk installed on the north and south side between Northeast 11th Ave and Northeast 10th Ave.
Okay, so there is a very large tree on the south side of Northeast 35th. Rumor has it, it is the oldest tree in Oakland Park. We are all very concerned about what accommodations are going to be going on with that tree, or if that tree is going to be sacrificed for sidewalk.
Did you say Northeast 35th Street?
36th.
Oh,
South
36th.
side of Northeast 36th.
Oh, okay.
So what we
I
can
am-
do is during construction, we'll stake out that specific tree. We can meet with you to identify it. And then we can either modify the plans to avoid that tree. We can talk with our design folks in the city of Oakland Park if it would be an impact, or if there's some other course of action that we can take.
Okay, so just well, and what about whether we can each of us get a plan that shows what's going to happen on our particular property? And how do we get that?
We can provide it to you. Our plans are based off of stationing, so it's not necessarily based off of property addresses, but what we can do is between our stationing and plan sets with your personal address, if you're comfortable providing it, we could point you to which area your house is and the improvements that will be taking place there.
You know, if you guys can post these somewhere and tell us where to go look at them. We've been asking for this for 3 years since we moved in. I've been asking repeatedly for exactly what parts of what streets we're going to get sidewalks. And this is the first time I've heard anything other than all streets are getting sidewalks on both sides. Apparently they're not.
If you would email me your request, I will go ahead and ensure that it is sent to you. The plan sheets are slightly technical. We can possibly work on something else specifically for the public that provides all the information necessary without the technicalities of.
My wife is a
plan
town
itself.
planner. She can read whatever you send.
The city has the plans as well. So, I mean, just send me an email, please, and we will go ahead and get that to you.
Okay, I just highly would recommend that this information be made available to every property owner as soon as possible. You cannot even believe the level of unrest in this neighborhood. And I think Denise and Steve could attest to that. People are very unhappy because we feel like we've been kept in the dark, and no matter what we say, the project is going to continue. So you've got a bunch of very unhappy campers who I think are less likely to be cooperative at this point. And I think the more information you can get out to every property owner in the affected areas, the more successful and the less difficult your project is going to be.
Definitely, and thank you for your feedback. We will definitely work on that.
Last small question. Are we going to be able to park in our driveways while this is all going on, or where are we supposed to park?
Yes, you will be able to. We'll maintain access. If in the event that a driveway is not going to be available, if it's being reconstructed with concrete or something, we will coordinate with the property owner for the best time and place that could occur, or if there's other solution available. So we don't expect those to be impacts like that. For instance, if a property owner is away from work or is away at work from the hours of 9 to 5 p.m. on this day, we'll try to target and work at that location so that they're not impacted.
I ask specifically because I work from home.
Oh.
So you're going to have to let me know when that's going to happen, and I'm going to have to find somewhere to park. So it's just, this is a huge project going on here. And like I said, most of us feel like we've been kept in the dark. And now all of a sudden they're going to tell us where it's going and we have no input, and it just doesn't feel pretty.
Thank you, Ms. Hemstock. We will definitely coordinate with you and follow up with you as well.
I will follow up with you by email tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay.
Andre or Charlene, do you have any additional public outreach that we could share with them during the design phase, or Josh?
Yeah, I think the only thing that we have is possibly the flyers that were sent out. I'm not sure the time frame of when that was sent out some time ago, but I would hope that I think that we can get together and kind of figure out when we look at the schedule of improvements, hopefully try to give the residents a heads up to say, hey, 2 weeks from now, we'll be in this neighborhood or beyond, I'm not neighborhood, but be on this street, just so that they have an idea of when to expect people to come. Obviously, we don't want to really put the schedule out there or give them too far in advance notice, because sometimes, it kind of goes, they, not forget about it, but if you know something a month out, we would have to send something else out. So I'm sure that we'll be able to work with the public outreach with you guys to make sure that we're informing the residents.
Definitely. Thank you, Charlene. Okay, we have one more hand, or a few more hand raised, actually. I have here Dean Cyrulnik. I apologize if I didn't say your name correctly. You're unmuted. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yes, hi, good evening. Thank you for your time. I just, I noticed the schedule was, 200 days, and will you be working in all areas at the same time, or are you working east to west or west to east, as far as the scheduling? Just out of curiosity, that's all.
Ricky, do you want to provide some?
Yeah, that's a good question. We have the preliminary schedule from the contractor. More or less, they're working. So we're not working on all areas at one time. They're going to be working on 2, maybe 3 separate corridors that won't impact each other. As for like working east to west, that's the north to south. That's the general idea. That I think the contractor is going to work in a linear path. They're going to try to take out the south. The southwest corner of like Northeast 3rd Avenue and Northeast 32nd Street, and kind of go upward from there. Beyond that, though, it's up to the contractor. But we're gonna be working to coordinate those areas and make sure that we give all the residents advance notice. Make sure that we're working ahead of them before they come into those areas.
Okay, and just one other question. There was a proposed street light at Northeast 11th Avenue and Northeast 35th Street, and I believe there was a conflict with a fire hydrant. Has that street light been relocated a couple of feet, or has it been deleted entirely?
I'm pretty sure that's been deleted. If Josh wanted to confirm that.
We don't have street lighting in this project. Was that maybe part of the FPL work? Josh, do you have more info on that?
So the work that FPL is doing on Northeast 11th Avenue is a series of street lights. It is not a signalized intersection. They're going to be adding decorative lamps basically on the east side of Northeast 11th Avenue, basically running from 32nd Street in various locations up to 38th Street in various locations. There really shouldn't be any impact to homeowners. There'll be directional boring underneath the roadway, so nothing is going to be opened up as far as the road is concerned. But it is only decorative street lighting. There is no signalized intersection going in on 11th and 35th or anywhere in the corridor for this project.
No, and that's good, and we appreciate the lighting. I just was wondering the one on 35th, if they were able to, find a way to put one in or have it with the fire hydrant there. We'd like to have it.
If you guys hang on one moment, I'm just going to pull up the exhibit that was put forth for this to go through and be able to answer that question in just a second.
I think the street lighting is coming from the city as well. Is that correct, Andre or Charlene?
That is, I can tell you that's correct.
Yeah. So we'd have to talk with the city to be more specific about that street light that appears to possibly be in conflict with the fire hydrant, if there's something else that's going to happen with it.
That's fine. I don't want to take any more of your time. I know there's other people waiting, but thank you.
Thank you for your question, and I encourage you as well to email me.
Thank you.
The street light you make mention of, is that on the west side of that street? It says on 35th and 11th?
35th and 11th. It's on the southeast corner of 35th and 11th. It says there was a street light proposed there, but it was in conflict with a fire hydrant. The southeast corner.
All right, give us 1 second. We're just looking at something real quick.
While they look into that, well, I'm gonna go ahead and unmute another attendee. We have Danielle Yang. Again, I do apologize if I'm saying the name incorrectly. You're unmuted.
Can you hear me? Yeah, you did a good job on my name. Thank you. So I'm not sure. I guess I just became aware of this project recently, although I've been a homeowner there for a number of years. And I have a tenant living at 35th Street between 10th and 8th. So on the north side. So I just want confirmation that I will be impacted by this.
Yes, we'll have sidewalk installed on the north and south side of 35th at those limits. There will be some driveway reconstruction efforts as well.
Well, that was my main question, is that the city of Oakland Park and I have an agreement. I've spoken to a few officials there that I have been wanting to redo my driveway, but they advised me that I'm better off waiting until the sidewalks are constructed. And I also had a concern that I do have one of the older FPL wooden poles right at the corner of my lot, and I was wondering, you know, what was going to be happening to that, if you had any information about that.
We'll check with FPL for their hardening project that goes with that. That's beyond our scope.
Okay.
If you could, I would advise you as well to hold off on your driveway until our sidewalk is installed. I mean, if it's a must that you cannot wait for your driveway, by all means, it's your private property, but I do highly recommend that if you could be patient with the work until we complete our work.
No, absolutely. I'm willing to wait. And I think it's actually, I wanted to ask, is there any way that I could extend or contract with your contractor to pour or to, what's the word? Asphalt my driveway at the same time as the sidewalks go in?
Yeah, if you wanted to, you could certainly hire a contractor.
Well, what about the contractor who's doing these sidewalks?
I recommend emailing me. We will, once construction begins, this is something that we will discuss with the contractor in our first meeting. We will bring that up to them and see if we can get that coordinated for you.
Okay, yeah. That'd be great, because it would make a lot of sense if they're there and they're already, you know, changing elevations and so on. I'm on a very narrow lot, so I would say 2/3 of the frontage is driveway to allow for 2 cars to park. And so I just wanted to make sure that the sidewalks, you know, took into consideration that parking area. By the way, this is the other point I wanted to bring up. I don't know if you saw my note there. I'm away every summer, like away, and I need to advise my tenant as to what's coming. So if you were planning on meeting with each homeowner individually, I just want to, I'll email you, Ms. De Silva or Ms. Silva, about how to contact me if there's any, you know, anything to be discussed and so on for that address.
So as part of my coordination, we will coordinate directly with property owners via email, visiting the homes if on an as needed basis as well. So if you prefer email, most definitely I will send you the information to your email or phone number, and we will ensure that everything is coordinated properly.
Okay, that sounds great. And just one general question about the trees. Somebody brought up trees. What is the general position from the city and from the FDOT in terms of trees? Are they planning to eliminate trees to allow for these sidewalks to come in?
I can answer that for you folks. In regards to the landscaping that is existing within the city's right-of-way, if it was at all possible for us to move the sidewalk and maintain the tree and deflect the sidewalk around the tree, we most certainly have done so. There is a number of trees throughout the large corridor of over 5 miles that these sidewalks are going in, that the right-of-way that we had between the edge of pavement and where the actual right-of-way lines are was so constricted that the tree is going to have to come out. There is several instances of this, yes. However, just to reiterate, if we were at all possible to deflect the sidewalk around an existing tree to maintain it, as long as it was not an invasive species in South Florida, we made every attempt to do so.
Okay, but there's no plan on if the tree is or has to be removed, that another tree will be planted in its place.
No, there is not, correct.
Well, that's really something to think about. And lastly, just we talked briefly about speaking to your contractor in terms of working with homeowners in repaving or pouring concrete. There should be some coordination with the City of Oakland Park because, as you know, permits are required for this work. So I don't know how that can be done, but
That will be up to the homeowner, given that it is your property. At the end of the day, if something is coordinated with the contractor, that will be something that's done with you and the contractor and the city.
okay.
DOT cannot get involved because it is your right of way.
No, but I mean, I completely agree DOT can, but if the contractor is already sort of allowed or approved by the city to do this work, it might be a nice plus for the homeowners if the contractor could sort of get pre-approval with the city when they're about to refinish not only the sidewalks but the driveways. But I understand the point. I understand your point. Lastly, I'm just curious, how was the delimitation of this project decided upon? Because it really does seem pretty weird when you know that 10th Avenue is a good delimitation. Why would you go up beyond there? Hello? What's the matter?
So the way the project was incepted, if you would, I'll let Charlie and Andre take more to lead on that, but it's federally funded through the MPO. And the city of Oakland Park had requested a federal grant to actually perform this project, which was granted. And then the Broward MPO obtained the funding from the federal government, and then the FDOT is the agency helping now deliver this project on behalf of the city and the MPO. And then I think this was also adopted, Charlene, through the city commission resolution. I don't have that resolution number on hand, but it was also approved by city commission.
That is correct. And FDOT is administering the project.
Right. And does this, Andre, does this tie in with the city rezoning that's going through?
The project is not about the rezoning. This project really came about as far as what we call safety for kids to really for residents to actually use the roadway. So it's not a part of the rezoning really. It's just a separate project on its own, providing a safe way to walk the streets instead of walking in the roadway.
So if somebody was to say to you,
all the way up to there.
If somebody was to say, I'm tearing the house that exists on my lot currently, I plan on rebuilding, would you still go ahead and put new sidewalks on that lot?
If the sidewalk is, sorry.
We're not installing any sidewalk on private property. It's only going to be within the existing public right of way. So if a private property were to have some new construction or demolition, it would just be then sidewalks still within the public right of way for this project at least.
Understood. Okay, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your question. We do have a couple more questions in the chat. We have one from Alan McClure. Northeast 33rd between 10th and 11th. Which side will get sidewalks, or will it be both sides?
33rd between 10th and 11th.
Yes, 33rd between 10th and 11th.
1 second, please. 33rd, that's going to be. So the north side of 33rd will be receiving new sidewalk. There is very minimal sidewalk on the south side. It looks like we might just be closing a gap in sidewalk perhaps, but the majority of the work will be on the north side.
Okay, thank you. I have a question. I have a hand raised from Cindy O'Gara or O'Gara. You are unmuted. Cindy, if you're speaking, we can't hear you.
I'm looking for where my question is printed out. Where did that disappear to? Okay, well, I did type out the question. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so the question I typed out was referring to the legend that's been displayed and by the city of Oakland Park, and it appears to be infringing and trespassing onto private property. And what I'd like to know is, do homeowners and property owners have a guarantee that the city of Oakland Park is not going to infringe upon, trespass on our property in terms of the legal description that homeowners have paid taxes on and purchased? So will my lot somehow be diminished by this project? And can you guarantee that our lot sizes will not be diminished by this project for what we've purchased and have been paying taxes on? For me, it's been 28 years.
We'll
So
hand this
again,
off to the city.
Our project improvements are within the existing public right-of-way.
Where did you come up with the right-of-way? Who's come up with this right-of-way? Because it just seems as if it's just been pulled out of, well, where's the right-of-way? How many feet in does the right-of-way begin from the street?
That's a pretty specific, but it looks like generally the right-of-way line is 20 feet on either side of the existing roadway. I may be saying that, or Josh, do you want to?
So this seems, it seems like you have just said to me that you're confiscating property that I've owned, that's my lot, and that I have paid taxes on since 1995. So that's what you just told me when you just told me you're coming in 20 feet. That's not, you've now trespassed against the legal description of the length and width of my lot.
Eric, I can chime in here. As far as the public right-of-way that FDOT is in helping the city with this project, from the center of the roadway going out 20 feet in each direction is the existing right-of-way that our contractor will have all rights to do this project within. And that is on every single street that we have. I believe there might be one or two that might be a slightly smaller right-of-way as far as a constraint. However, this is something that has been vetted and through title searches and various efforts from our survey department has confirmed where all of the points of the existing right-of-way are, and that is what dictated the constraints of the sidewalk design for this project.
What year was this right-of-way developed? Who designated the right-of-way, and when was it developed? And why wouldn't that have been made known to property owners, again, who are purchasing a lot in a specific lot size and are paying taxes on that lot size? Now you're telling me that, well, you said 20 feet from the center. So say 10 feet, say you've got 10 feet, now you're 10 feet onto what I've been paying taxes on for 28 years, 30 years, since 1995, so 28 years.
Well,
You understand what I'm saying?
What's
There's no, I feel like we're missing something. I hear what you're telling me, that the contractor, that everybody has approval for this. It still sounds an awful lot like you're going to be taking footage that homeowners and property owners have purchased and have been paying taxes on. So I'd like to see, well, we'll see, you know, what ends up happening, but
yeah, well,
that's why people are pretty shooken up. And I don't know that all of us are, but that's it.
Sure. This is Fossil Gracia from the Broward MPO. I'm just going to add on to what Joshua and Erica stated. One good source to see where your actual right-of-way property is that has nothing to do with, you know, our plans and where we're saying it is you can go on the BCPA, you can go on the maps and the aerials, and it'll show you where your actual property line is. And you can also pull up the deed on the agreement that you had with the county or the city or whomever at that time that you purchased it, on where your right-of-way points of location are. A lot of streets, the first 15 to 20 feet are normally dedicated towards public right-of-way purposes. Most of the time, not all the time, but BCPA, to go to BCPA, type in BCPA into Google, the maps and aerials, which can be found on the left side, and you can go to your exact property and see where your property line actually is.
And BCPA is the Broward County Property Appraisers website.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. With that concern aside, I want to say that our home personally, we're very excited also about the project, and we're very excited because we certainly need work in the city and around the city. Very, very, very much. So we're delighted with that, but there is that concern that we're going to be, you know, that our lots that we've paid for are somehow going to be, you know, shortened and made public property.
They won't, and what you'll see prior to construction beginning too is you'll start to see survey stakes pop up to mark the location between the right-of-ways. In the event though, if you do see something that does not look right, or it may be causing confusion, like, hey, that's my property, or hey, is that really public right-of-way? We can certainly meet with you and review it case by case as well. But our plan sets, the intention is to perform all of our work within the existing right-of-way. We're not going to go on to private property for public improvements.
Okay, well, we certainly hope not, and thank you. And we're looking forward to some great work being done.
Thank you.
Cindy. We have time for one more question. I do have a hand raised. Mr. Ralph Confreda, you're unmuted. You are unmuted. At any point, you can unmute yourself. If you're speaking, we can't hear you. I do see here that you have a question in the chat. I will read it out loud, and if it's the same, unfortunately, we cannot hear you. If you would like, you can also add to it to the chat directly. It says here that you purchased your home at 1028 Northeast 36th Street. You do have some questions. Is this pertaining to the sidewalk specifically? You would like to know if FDOT will pay to relocate the trees. Okay. Is this a question specifically the palm trees? Josh, do you have any insight on this?
Or the
I'm just
city of
pulling
Oakland
up.
Park?
I'm just pulling up that specific area. So you said 36th Street?
Yes.
28 36th Street. As of right now, I'm not certain on the north or the south side of the road that his property lies on. There are approximately.
On the south side.
I'm sorry?
He's located on the south side.
Okay, on the south side of 36th Street, just to the east of 10th Avenue, which should put you right around the 1028 area, there is I believe we have about 3 trees that are within the public right-of-way that we were not able to move the sidewalk around. And in doing so, those trees will have to be removed for the new sidewalk to go in. And it looks like it's basically just a cluster of palm trees, and I believe there's 2 other individual trees as well. It is quite minimal on 36th, just north of 10th Avenue.
Okay, the question specifies about the relocation. Will those be relocated? And if so, will DOT?
So the easiest route to go is have this gentleman send an email with his contact information so that we can coordinate with him directly and to confirm if the trees that he's concerned about are indeed within the public right of way. In doing so, we would give you the opportunity to relocate them yourself. But as far as the contractor is concerned, all the trees that are called out in the plans are only to be removed. We will give you all of the opportunity to relocate them yourself if you would feel inclined to do so.
Okay, thank you, Joshua. Mr. Confreda, please feel free to send me an email. We will definitely follow up with you, potentially schedule a site visit and see what else needs to be addressed directly on the field. At this time, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us. Throughout the project, as mentioned, if you have any questions, comments, feel free to contact my cell phone, my email, our construction project manager, and our project administrator's information are also on the screen. We have Ricky and Eric. We are more than happy to assist at any point throughout construction, so please, we encourage you to reach out to us. Lastly, we'd like to share the FDOT safety message. This message for this month is share the freedom of the open road. Again, thank you everyone for attending today's virtual public meeting. We will actually have the in-person open house. The information was displayed on the screen. It's actually displayed in the flyer or in the mailer that you received. It's held at the Broward Operations located on Powerline Road. You're more than welcome to come and join us. We will be here until 7 p.m. Again, thank you for attending, and this concludes tonight's virtual public meeting. Thank you, everyone.